Watch this video, save this video so you don't mess up your measurements. Happy cooking season.
Let me teach you a lesson in flour. The reason why everybody usually tells you to sift your flour when you're baking is because when you're measuring 1 cup and you just scoop it from inside the flour or the bin, it's usually more flour than you think it is. So as an example, I'm just gonna scoop out 1 cup of flour, and 1 cup of flour should be 120 grams. So I just dig into my bowl of flour, scoop out 1 cup to the 1 cup line, and I dump it into my flour bowl that has my scale underneath. And this is 1 cup from the 1 cup scoop. Now, if you see that doesn't say 120 grams, that says 152 grams. It's because when you just scoop, out of this scooper, it packs the flour in there and you're grabbing more flour than you actually think. That's why when most baking recipes happen, they tell you to sift the flour. So I'm gonna show you 2 things that you should do. I'm just gonna dump this back in here so I can show you. If you don't have a scale, then what you want to do before you measure flour is just fluff it up. So I just grab a, what is this called? A whisk. And then I fluff my flour, fluffing. So if you don't have a scale and if you don't have a sifter, you know, those things that you put the flour in and then it makes it come out nice and fluffy, then just do this for a while, just like 30, 40 seconds. And then instead of putting the scoop in right away, now after the flour is sifted, you're just gonna take a spoon and you're going to spoon the flour into your cup until it reaches the 1 cup line. Oops. So now I'm going to put it back on my scale. And now it's a lot closer to 120, which is 120 grams, which is a cup of flour. We're 1 gram over, which isn't a big deal. So we can use this now in our recipe, and we know that our recipe is going to turn out correctly. And then the last thing, and obviously the best thing to do, is just to simply spoon your flour directly onto your scale so that you can get your exact grams that you need for the recipe. Not everybody has a scale or can afford a scale, so you can use the sifting message, and it usually ends up being very, very close to exactly what you need. But definitely under no circumstances should you ever just scoop flour out of a heavily packed bag and use it in your recipe. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be using too much flour and your recipe will not turn out correctly.